You generally don't get container-to-container recycling from things like plastic bottles and cans. People have to understand that, and it's a real problem for recyclers, is that first of all there's a hygienic aspect here, but a lot of these plastic containers might look like it's one layer of plastic. Even the clear ones, they're often a laminate. So they'll have 2 or 3 or more different layers of plastic in order to keep the carbonation in the bottle. And so they don't lend themselves easily to being turned back into another beverage container. That's why they end up being, as some people would call it, downcycled into another product like a carpet or a fleece. Okay. Well, there are different markets being developed for different kinds of plastics. So your plastic water bottle or your plastic soft drink container, well, there's 2 main destinations for them right now. Traditionally, they go into making those sort of fleece jackets and clothing that has a good thermal value. They tend to be quite staticky when they come out of the dryer, but that's a good use for pop bottles. Another use is nylon carpeting. So a lot of this material ends up going down to Atlanta and places in bales where it's made into carpet. One of the fastest growth areas in soft drinks is water. And so bottled water is now starting to show up as a bit of a problem because you have all of this PET plastic flooding the market because everyone's drinking bottled water. What's having an effect on the market is China has emerged as a huge buyer of that. So a lot of those plastic containers are getting shredded and baled and shipped to China, and now the PET plastic recyclers in North America are having problems keeping their recycling facilities viable. So there's a whole sort of economy after the regular economy for materials having a second life, and it's always sorting itself out and changing. It's very dynamic. I would say one of the worst environmental offenders in terms of a product or package that gets sent to landfill that really ought to be recycled is the aluminum can. Now, aluminum can be recycled, obviously, and when it's recycled, it has a very good environmental profile. But what's happening is in jurisdictions that don't collect soft drink containers on deposit, up to 50% of these used beverage containers are ending up in the landfill. Now, if you think of the amount of embodied energy that is represented in one aluminum can, and you think of that there are billions of these that are going to landfill, it's an appalling situation. And in fact, I don't think we should make soft drink containers out of aluminum cans unless we're prepared to put them on deposit to stop that. Companies, the soft drink companies and others, are very reluctant to put their containers on deposit. In the United States, they're called bottle bill states. In Canada, most provinces have some form of deposit refund system on their beverage containers. I guess the example that is the standout in Ontario and in Canada is the beer store, which collects something like in excess of 80 or 90% of its cans and bottles through a deposit refund system.